If I've talked about some ideas that you can kind of like, dip your toe in the water.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
okay. So remember we were talking about exosomes,
Yeah.
right? So I talked to you the other day.
Yeah.
I mentioned I had a product line that I had started. It's topical.
Okay.
So in the world of exosomes and regen med, topical things have been allowable, like for aesthetics, skincare, things like that.
Right.
And most of those things have been done in the form of um, procedures. You've heard of a vampire facelift or
Right.
vampire facial, where it's a PRP. That's what I mentioned earlier. They take your blood, spin it down, get the PRP out. Then they use microneedling and they abrasively, you know, chew up your face a bit with needles.
Right.
And then they rub PRP all over it, and it
And
grows back
it
nicely.
grows back right.
Grows back beautifully, right?
Yeah.
It's better than a chemical peel and all that stuff. And it does work really, really well. Well, back in 2017, I was working on making some facial kits for med spas to do that without having to do a PRP. So no blood draw, because patients hate that.
Yeah.
But you can just use a vial of our product that we made in the lab. Well, I tried to get that out in the market. Didn't really get it that way. I was still in the pain management world back then. But I patented some of my formulas for direct to consumer topical use, right? Because I'm like, well, we don't have to go through a doctor's office to sell something with exosomes in it if it's for topical use and it's not in a format that could be manipulated or abused. Like, if you can't put it into an injection
Right.
without hurting yourself,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
no one can screw that up, right? So it's just a topical, apply it with your fingers type of thing, for your skin, and it can be used that way. And so I years later finally got that underway. I have it now. I mentioned earlier regenaesthetics.com.
Yeah.
That's the site for that, and I have that product line out. So I've got a lash serum, a brow serum, facial serum, got a facial cream to complement the facial serum. I have a hair serum. And again, we're talking about a serum that is designed to allow the exosomes, and it's got exosomes in it. That's what's in it, right? That's the second ingredient for a lot of stuff in there is exosome fluid.
Okay.
To get into the actual skin and trigger the regeneration effects of skin and tissue, trigger the regeneration effects of hair, lash and brow. That's been somewhat of a remarkable product already for people. We had people that have just come back and said, "Oh my gosh, like I could not believe this." And there's a pharmaceutical product called Latisse, and I've had people tell me that ours was working better, better
Wow.
than Latisse, but it's not a pharmaceutical and doesn't have side effects.
Right.
Now that's just anecdotal. I don't know how many real evidence. Sorry, Latisse, I don't know, but I'm sure your product is amazing. But I do know their product's expensive and it has to be like prescribed.
Yeah.
Ours doesn't have to be prescribed. It's just biologic. So, but yeah, and the hair serum, I've heard that one works really, really well if you have the right kind of hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
If you have some true health issue hair loss, it's not going to help that.
Right.
But if you have just genuine, thinning,
Pattern balding.
it's typical alopecia that could be reversed from regular treatments, or whatever, then this could work in those cases. Facial serum's great, but the cool one the one I actually patented years ago was it's an exosome sugar scrub.
Okay.
So you take sugar and
Yeah.
you put basically the early versions of this, literally using just table sugar and pouring a vial of exosomes that I would have normally, or amniotic fluid or exosomes, I tried both, that I would have normally been selling to a doctor's office, pouring it into the sugar, stirring it up till it made a little paste.
Right.
And then just using it on your face and just scrubbing it in really nice and like just abrasing it,
Okay.
And oh my gosh, you'll have glowing, vibrant skin for weeks.
Really?
After weeks, I'm telling you. So I've had people that were trying it. I let people try it, and I'm like, I should have probably gotten some,
Compensation for that.
no, some document signed to protect
Oh,
people.
yeah. No, that's really pretty rad.
Try it and see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen here. It's like, it should work great, but I tried it myself first. I'll give everybody that, I'll try it myself. And man, my skin was like, I had people saying, that I looked,
Young.
like I was like, like it looked like I had been, like slightly sun-kissed, like I was, just,
Right.
like been out like surfing in the sun,
How cool.
I've had people that had their vibrant facial skin glowing for weeks, and they got compliments.
Because obviously the point is that you're re-stimulating your cells. Does that, like, for example, somebody who maybe has acne or something like that, would that be helpful at all? or you don't know?
It could be. We've not had anybody with skin conditions using it and reporting back that it's healing a condition.
Right.
And we aren't selling anything for conditions. It's all just for general aesthetic use. Like, this will help your skin be more vibrant and healthy, but not treating a condition. I'm sure it would help a condition, but in general, I mean,
that is pretty remarkable that, and so I love that idea of like, if you want to, like I said, dip your toe in some of these like new, exciting, really cutting edge, healthcare longevity products. And I think it's a, inexpensive way to try it out, and you might see some amazing results.
Yeah, you absolutely could. I tell people that my 3 categories of longevity, aside from all the other health stuff, and the 3 categories are look it, feel it, act it.
Yeah.
Right. You want to look, people want to look it, they want to look young, they want to act, they want to feel young.
Right.
And that's all of the medical stuff we're talking about that makes them feel younger, literally feeling better. They want to act young. What good's having all that if you can't actually do stuff, right? So that look it, feel it, act it. I mean, those 3 things together are what people are looking for in longevity. Well, the look it part, I can help with that without having to go through all the compliance and medical and processes and all the stuff like that. Well, that's pretty easy. In general, I could make a product with regenerative properties that can actually help people's skin look better, make them feel younger, and help regrow hair. So that's great, and you don't have to use needles for that. So that's the thing. I'm like, what if this hair treatment is actually working better than some of these more invasive needle procedures?
Always better.
I'm all like, yep. What if you don't have to do that vampire facial with all the needles and the blood?
Yep.
I mean, what if it could just be a serum that you rub on? I got about a half dozen samples of the sugar scrub made in our new formula. Yeah. Right. So we're producing it. It's in production now. I don't have it ready, but all the other stuff's ready. I've got inventory and we're selling. But the sugar scrub, I gave it to select people to try. Yeah. I gave it to this nurse practitioner that I know really, really well. And she was like, oh my gosh. She's all like, I have the best skin I've ever had. She was all like, I'm like, you're only supposed to do it once a week, really, or maybe a couple times a week. She's like, I use it every night. And I was all like, okay. She's like, I need a tub of this stuff. And I'm all like, that's an expensive tub of stuff. I was like, the sugar part's cheap, but the rest of it's expensive, Right. But yeah, so I can't wait to get that one out. I know it will do well because I've actually seen plenty of people firsthand, use it, people I let try it. The other stuff, though, I've already had a number of people coming back, and we've only had the product. I finally got the inventory in, first rounds of production made, and only been selling some of these other serums for a number of weeks and like maybe a couple months now. That we got samples in months ago. What's
the website again?
Regenesthetics.com. It is REGENESTHE. TICS.
And we'll put links all over the place for you to go check it out.
The American aesthetics, not the British aesthetics with an A.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna change the world. It's gonna be E aesthetics, region aesthetics, not IE aesthetics, not the Latin diphthong with AE. So no, it's regenesthetics.com. But yeah, I'll get you the link. You can send out to people if you want. But yeah, I
totally encourage people to check it out. I think it'd be
yeah. So yeah, and also too, any of the if anybody listening has interest in real stem cell treatments, stuff that if they're in the U.S., I know you have listeners all over the world.
Yeah,
we can actually accommodate listeners all over the world. You can actually send your adipose samples from anywhere you live to our lab here and have all that stuff done. So absolutely doable anywhere in the world, and you can come here and get it. You can have your cells shipped to somewhere else in the world. I'm sure there's probably plenty of options if you're international.
Yeah.
You don't need this necessarily, but in the U.S., this is probably the best thing you can do for routine. So you're talking about professional athletes.
Right.
Some of these guys and women, some of these men and women in the professional field are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a year going overseas for these treatments. Right? They don't have to do that. You don't have to spend that much. You can spend a fraction of that
and have it done right
here in the U.S. Right? And they don't know it. And all the doctors you're talking to are referring them out to a center that they probably own some of. You know, they own 1% of it in some Costa Rica or something.
And
like that.
I don't know all the rules, but you're probably, you know, going to have less a chance of, you know, going past, you know, getting having a problem with, you know, your union or whatever the league rules are, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's your own stuff.
It's your own stuff. I mean, like it's not, you're not blood doping,
right?
I mean, I joked one time, I was like, it's kind of like stem cell doping. It's kind of like performance doping, but it's legal because it's stem cells and it's your own stem cells. I'm all like, but it's not blood doping because that's a direct oxygenation improvement,
right?
And that's why it's illegal, because you can outperform. But this one doesn't do that. I mean, they'll come around at some point,
right?
But to probably regulate it so people can't be amazing performers for 50 years, and you got somebody who's a
we'd hate to see that.
Yeah, I mean, like you got all these, you know, these amazing ball players, you know, that are like, you know, 50 and 60 years old, normally retire at like 25 and 30, you know, or whatever, and they're like,
now we know Tom Brady's
still
secret.
Out there dominating because they're getting like, you know, 2 or 3 IVs a year of like 50 million stem cells, and they're back at 25 years old, you know. Like, bring it on, you know. And I got like 20 or 30 Super Bowls, you know, championships, you know. That'd be hilarious.
That would be pretty hilarious.
And Tom Brady and whoever else, you can do that right here in the U.S. Just give me a call.
Right on.
I know the doctors who will do it for you. I got the lab who will do the expansion for you and the storage for you. You give me a call.
We'll get you guys a direct line.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, listen, we got to cut this off. I want to keep going though. Let's do it again. We have so many stuff to discuss.
Oh yeah.
So many stuff to discuss.
And I didn't even finish talking about CRISPR and apples.
See?
Now I want a crisp apple.
Right.
Yes. That's what I'm going to now. I'm going to go find a nice crisp
apple, a little honey crisp apple. And yeah, so we've got that to talk about. We've got, you know, archaeology to talk about.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We got all kinds of stuff. So we'll do it again.
Okay.
Will, thanks, man.
You're awesome. Thanks.
It's been fun. You're listening to And If Love Remains.
Mike is gone.
You are listening to And If Love Remains.
Gone but not forgotten.
First of 23 installments requested by Dr. Levitt. Trying to be in compliance here because we're taking him and that whole organization down.
Speak peace like a Buddhist.